Couple weeks ago, the new baseball season began with opening day, and it was a great day, a wonderful day that when the baseball season begins. And it made me think about back when I was a kid, and I would go to see my beloved Padres. Now I've got my Padres shirt on, and you can tell how old this shirt is because it says Padres National League West Division Champions. It's been quite a while since they have been able to celebrate that. But anyway, back when I was a kid, that was way before we ever thought they would be a great team. They were just right there, right in the middle, always very average, very Charlie Brown-esque, I guess you could say. Anyway, what I was wondering about was, when did the enjoyment of the game begin to lose its attraction and winning take over? Let me explain what I mean by that. When I was a kid, we would go to the games, and I remember it was so fun because we would go to this big stadium and the atmosphere would be so wonderful, and Dad would let me get a hot dog, and then we would have peanuts, and we would be able to eat the peanuts and just throw them right there on the ground, and then we might get a popcorn to go with it, and we would watch this game, and it was always fun if I got to see my favorite player, Tony Gwynn, get a hit. I mean, that's what was important back then when I would go to the game. And yes, if they lost the game, it was sad. But you know what? It didn't matter as much. What mattered was the game itself. And I know that it kind of was that way too when I was in Little League Baseball, when I played Pop Warner football. It was the process of playing the game that was so fun. And somewhere along the way that began to change. And it was about winning. And we play a lot of games in our house, euchre, Ticket to Ride, whatever game is out there at the time. And sometimes when you're playing the game, it becomes all about the winning part, and you forget that part of the fun is playing. And we've had these conversations with our grandkids as well, because the problem is they see how Papa plays the game and how I always like to win, and I'm not always a good loser. And they recognize that, oh, it's all about winning, right? Well, no. Now, I'm trying to shift that in my life, but I'm trying to shift it not just when it comes to playing a game or when it comes to watching sports. I'm trying to shift it in the big picture scheme of things as well. I think sometimes you remember that song? There's a song that's called Everybody's Working for the Weekend. And the idea was, you work, you do all your toil and all your struggle and everything so that you can finally get to that weekend, and that's when you really are enjoying yourself, right? Well, if you only get to enjoy yourself those 1 or 2 days of a week, or maybe just that one day of the week, what's all the rest of it all about? And really, if it's only about the weekend, if it's only about what you're going to do on vacation, and you're not experiencing joy in the moment, that's got to become pretty depressing, right? And you put so much pressure almost on that weekend or on that vacation, that special event you're going to do, that when it doesn't fit up to what you wanted, then you're really disappointed. So there's a sense that we need to learn to live in the moment so that we can enjoy that moment and get the most out of it. That we can find joy in the journey and not just in the destination. And I found a couple places in the Psalms that kind of, I think, reflect that. Like Psalm 16:11, it says, "Show me the path of life. In your presence there is the fullness of joy. In your right hand pleasures are forevermore." I love that. Show me the path of life. In your presence there is the fullness of joy. Not just the weekend, but in the presence of God there is the fullness of joy. Psalm 118:24 says this, "This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." This is the day, not just Saturday, not just the weekend, but this is the day. Monday is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in Monday, that first day of work for many of us. There is something about finding joy in the journey that eludes us. And I think it really eludes us as we mature and get older, right? Because sometimes I think when we're kids, we're able to find excitement and joy and wonder in those moments, and then we forget that sometime later on because somehow it becomes instilled in us that it's all about winning. It's all about the end result. So I look back on those days and I recognize, watching my favorite player get a hit and eating that hot dog with mom and dad at the baseball game and calling for the peanut guy to come over and give us peanuts. Well, and also recognizing that dad was going to pay for all of that. That was where joy was. I got to recapture that joy. I got to recapture that wonder of the moment, and that this is the day that the Lord has made, and rejoice in that day.